Evelyn to Philip, V. dated November 12, 1944. Dearest Phil, the party last night was the typical Lieberman type, and there was quite a large crowd. The only people who were missing were those who are in the service and Etta. Everybody was there. Immediately upon finishing my V-mail to you, Nat rang the bell and off we went. Lena drove. We had to pick up Mr. and Mrs. Saul, Emma's folks, and consequently I had to sit on Nat's lap, if and of course you don't have any objections. My comment was, what would my husband say? While Lena went up to get Emma's folks, Nat told us of some prank they planned to pull on Lena and Bob, who became aunt and uncle for the first time. They painted a large sign, and one by one each person was to go upstairs and write something on the card and sign their name to it. Nat bought a rose and a carnation to pin on them as the finale. I couldn't think of a thing to write and wound up writing, "From a Star is Born comes Vicky to make a new aunt and uncle." The food was simply delish. I had a platter of hot roast beef, little sour tomatoes, coleslaw, and delicious rye bread. I also had a tall glass of rum and coke, though I only drank half, as I began to feel a little dizzy. I sometimes wonder what I'd be like drunk. Even rum coke makes me dizzy. There was plenty of candy, pretzels, potato chips, soda, and the most delicious chocolate and coconut cakes you ever tasted. I meant I ever tasted. We, Mom, Goldie, and myself, didn't get home till about 2 a.m. Harry had to give Diana the bottle and so was elected to stay home. I received many compliments on my appearance. In fact, I don't ever remember getting as many compliments. Since I described myself in detail yesterday, kindly refer to that letter if you're in doubt. Renee and Meyer were there, and Renee looks positively awful. She's 5 months pregnant, you know, but it has affected her face, and she looks all puffed up. I didn't recognize her at first. Uncle Sam, Mr. Saul, and Uncle Nish danced a kazachka. Some spelling, eh, kid? And they were really something. They sang the Victory Polka song, but we all called it Vicky Paula song. Someone wrote on the card that it took a blank to knock out a girl, and someone else shouted, "Hell, that was no blank," etc. Each one of us gifted Nat with $5. They also passed out cigars, and we took our collection home for Harry, plus a Pepsi bottle half full of liquor. Ethel and Al drove us home. I had one picnic getting up today morning, but up I had to as Adele was hungry and wanted to go down. Diana broke out from head to foot with the rash I mentioned some time ago, and Goldie is having a bad time getting rid of it. She was very annoyed since her father is here. Mr. Silver sends his best. More to write, but we'll continue tomorrow. Need I add, my darling, that I adore you, that I love you so much, that I am your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 12 November 1944. My darling Ev, no doubt you know by now the grand news that I received last night when I called the hospital to find out if Eddie were still there. Can you imagine how I felt when they told me that Corporal Edward J. Powler shipped out to the U.S. on the 28th October? It seemed too wonderful to be true. But wait, then I called the hospital where Harry W. was. I learned that he had also been shipped out to the 10th Replacement Center. The chances are he'll be on his way home soon. He was sent to the 10th Replacement Center on the 7th November. Now I don't know whether he is still there or not. I will try to reach him by telephone. If I succeed, I'll certainly go out to see him. Failing that, I'll take a furlough and make the trip to Wales to see Eddie S. Gee, Chippy, I'd give $1,000,000 to be there to see your face and those of your mom and dad when Eddie walks in. I figure he should have arrived on or about 2 November. I received your letter of the 1st yesterday, so I'm looking forward most eagerly for your next few letters. Now you'll learn from Ed's own lips what I have been hinting at in my last few letters about him. Tell him to write, will you, sweet? After making the calls, I went into the games room at the Era Club to wait for Stahl, who was supposed to meet me there for a session of ping pong. But he didn't show up, so I played a couple of games against 2 fellows who are on the Stage 2 bass team. Of course, I was way out of their class, and I knew I was beat before I started, but I did manage to get 10 points against the first guy and 16 against the other one, which is no disgrace, I assure you. After that, I went into the snack bar where I had cups of coffee and sandwiches with Bob Hubbard, one of our guys. We chewed the fat for a half hour or so and then headed back to barracks. I was so full of the news of Eddie's leaving for home that I could hardly contain myself all night. I think I made a nuisance of myself telling all the fellows about it. Today I made further inroads on the pile of work I have on hand, but there is still plenty to be done. I had hoped to clean it up before going away, but I have already held back for 10 days trying to catch up with my work, and I'm very much afraid that if I wait till I can catch up, I'll never get away. However, I'll see if I can't get Sergeant Murphy and Private Stahl to sort of carry on with what I have been doing so that I can get away. There was no mail at all today, honey, so since I have brought you up to date with my activities, I know you won't mind if I presume to kiss you goodnight right here and now. Adele's gift was ruined in the making, just as it was being finished, but Red has promised a new one in plenty of time for her birthday. Give her a big hug and kiss for her dad. P.S. Love to all. Your loving husband, Phil.